And then they told him he couldn't come in, so I guess he must have came back and went to his car or whatever and started shooting.
All right, Chief Lee Burkaw here. This morning, it's a tragic what happened here, that families have to wake up and see on the news what happened here tonight. We have to think about the families involved and the victims that were involved, and our hearts go out to them. What we know at this point, this is a very complicated scene. What we know at this point is it was a disturbance or a fight between two groups. And in this fight between two groups, we had hundreds of innocent people involved that were in the way. And unfortunately, as a result of that, we've had 2 that have passed away and 18 in the hospital with injuries. And again, our hearts go out to the families. Imagine waking up and hearing about this and knowing or being related to somebody that was involved in this. So what we're asking is we're asking anybody that was out there that has video, and we know that there are some out there because we've seen them on social media, anybody that has video of this, to please report it to us. Call our non-emergency line at 231-6130.
Breaking this morning, a mass shooting on the southwest side leaves multiple people in the hospital. Chicago police are still investigating after
We need
hours.
that video because what happened here is completely unacceptable. And like every other case with our detectives and our officers and our partners that work together, we're going to hold those accountable and we're going to bring them to justice. But we need the cooperation of the community for that, and that is our ask.
Those 18 other people who were in the hospital, were they all shot, or was it like injuries from fighting?
Again, it's a very complex scene. We're working through that, but we know that we have 18 in the hospital, and we're right now providing assistance for them. We have victim advocates out there that are working with them.
Any other shooters or people arrested?
So I have one that have turned himself in, that's involved in it, and detectives are interviewing him now.
Is this gang related?
At this point, it's early in the investigation, so that'll be part of our investigation.
And you said you have one person that you guys are talking with now. Do you know idea how many shooters there were? Was it just one, or?
Again, we're working through it, but there's at least 2 at this point.
Do you know what sparked the fight or the altercation between the 2 groups?
We know there was a disturbance or issue between the 2 groups, but what that is going to be part of our investigation.
What was that number again?
813-231-6130.
Any other questions? Anything you can tell us about the victims?
Again, we're working through that. The tragedy is that we have two deceased and up to 18 other victims. And I just ask that everybody look at the victims and realize what happened here and know that it's unacceptable. And if there's any motivation for somebody to provide us a tip, let that be the motivation. We need to hold those accountable that were involved.
Do we know the ages of the victims?
Again, we're working through all that right now. We're working to get them identified and the ages.
If you could give any message to their families, what would it be?
That we care. The police department is a caring police department in the community. This is one of the greatest communities, the city of Tampa. Any other agencies that come here and see that is the caring and community relation that we have, and that's what's going to solve this crime, is a community coming together.
I know you have officers all over the place. What was the response to
Officers were already on scene when this happened, and fortunately they were not injured.
And explain, there was a lot of people here tonight, right? There was like a pub crawl going on.
Ybor night on a Saturday night. It's 3 o'clock, the bar's let out. There's hundreds in the street.
What time did the incident happen?
Just before 3 a.m.
And there's at least one shooter still alive?
Again, we're working through that right now.
Do you know if these folks were roaming the streets when they bumped into each other? How did they come out of a bar or something?
It's part of the investigation, whether they came from a bar or whether they were just on the street. That'll be part of the investigation.
And it happened on the street, not inside a place?
From what we know now, it happened in the street. All right?
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know that I'm going to have it.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mugo, good morning to you. Just minutes ago, we learned 15 people have been shot. The Chicago Fire Department tells us they transported at least 7 people to area hospitals.
People were shot. 2 victims are in critical condition, and they were all adults. The youngest 26, the eldest 53. What was going on? A witness says Chicago comedians were performing for a Halloween party. The DJ announced it was over, and 5 minutes later, a man started shooting through the front door. A few minutes after 1 o'clock this morning, Chicago police were notified that shots were fired in Lawndale near 13th and Pulaski. A witness says there was a fight. They wouldn't let that person back in, and that is who the witness believes came back and opened fire. Now, when police showed up, they actually saw that man shooting into the building. He tried to flee on foot, but was caught by Chicago police just a short distance away. A performer at the event shared what went through his mind.
There was already people fighting on the inside. I don't know who it was. I was in the front, so it was a fight that broke out in the back. There's a couple of guys that went out, then maybe somebody tried to come back in and told him he couldn't get in. So I guess he came back, put his arm through the door and started shooting. A couple of people got hit, 3 people that I know got hit, and then there was a girl in the back.
Now, out of the 15 victims, 2 are in critical condition, a 26-year-old woman and a 48-year-old man. The other 13 are said to be in good condition, which just means their injuries are not life-threatening. 6 women, 9 men. Like I said earlier, Chicago police have the shooter and the weapon, a handgun. He is in police custody, and at this point, not a threat to the community.
Again, a total of 7 people taken to the hospital. An unknown number of victims drove themselves to the hospital. We're still trying to confirm that number and the ages of the victims right now. We'll bring you more information.
15 people shot at a Halloween party in Chicago's North Lawndale neighborhood. At this hour, 1 suspect is in custody. CBS 2's Sharday Gray is live in the newsroom for us. Sharday, you were able to speak to those who were inside when these shots rang out.
That's right, Chris. Bullet holes are what's left outside of the venue in North Lawndale after 15 people were shot at this Halloween party. Their conditions range from fair to critical. We spoke with the party promoter who says this was a peace party, but tempers flared and shots were fired. What was supposed to be a fun Halloween party soon turned into chaos.
Gunfire everywhere. Shots fired, everybody ducked. I'm trying to help people, a couple people, you know?
Taiwan Tunskill, a local comedian, says he was inside when shots rang out. Instagram video shows the small venue was packed. Kaylon Moses, otherwise known as Skinbone, a well-known comedian with a big following on social media, says he promoted the party. Moses says the suspect drank too much and security kicked him out.
Instead of just, taking his L on losing from the security, went to the car and, came back, which I still don't understand why he come back and just aim at anybody.
Chicago police say 15 people were shot inside the venue. The mass shooting happened in the 1200 block of South Pulaski in North Lawndale. Ages range from 26 to 53. Police say the venue has a history of throwing unlicensed events.
After the Chicago Police Department concludes its investigation and gives clearance, BACP and our partners will investigate. If violations are found, we do not hesitate to issue various types of enforcement actions.
Moses says they initially planned to have the party at another location, but it was shut down and moved to this location.
Like, I was not over control over the locations. I'm really just like the face. I come, I do my job, all my fans be wanting to see me.
Surveillance video shows the aftermath of the shooting. You see people running to their cars and then taking off. Moses says he was just inches away from getting shot.
The first shot was like 2 inches away from my face. I was sitting by the front door, which I shouldn't have been sitting right there, but that's where, you come in at and everybody greets you or whatever. And
Moses says what makes matters worse, this was supposed to be a peace party. He says he feels obligated to apologize to those who attended the event. Police say they will open an emergency assistance center Tuesday for those affected by this mass shooting, as well as anyone affected by gun violence. Mayor Brandon Johnson calls for common sense gun reform to bring safety to all communities.
Take a look. Emergency crews lighting up the street. This is overnight near Pulaski and 13th Street in Lawndale. You can see at one point a person being taken away on a stretcher. Calls that came over police radio indicate officers may have taken into custody at least 1 suspect and recovered 1 weapon. A witness in the front of the building says a fight broke out in the back at a Halloween party there. Things escalating quickly when one man was rejected entry at the door following the DJ's announcement the party was coming to an end.